at least one of these really powerful picks in the Pantheon.
Yeah, we'll see what the rest of the bans are. We'll see if they just keep them relatively the same. This time, Lilia is going to be taken off the board here. Champion that we don't see that often, but when she comes to play, she's incredibly powerful, big disruptor, and is very difficult to disrupt herself here. And we'll see what NIP wants out of their first pick. You know, I don't know, man. It seems so hard to think of what they could go for very early. Maybe you want to just go aggressive for Leaf here on the bottom side, but I mean...
Pick Vi. I mean, Vi made it through that entire first game draft, didn't get banned. It's one of Aki's second most played here in the season. And if Pantheon's already taken away, like, I think Vi just gives you such a clear direction. And I feel like that's exactly what NIP really want when you look at this team and how they tend to operate.
Yeah, you're right. They're going to go for that Vi first. See what the response is for anyone's legend here. I'm curious to see if they're going to run back Flandre on a carry, as they did in the first game. Remember, we did mention that this could be something that they would index towards to just try to, you know, flex his muscles a little bit. Essentially the gym, right? You know, you go out, you hit the weights a little bit. Maybe by the time playoffs come around, you could put Flandre on a carry against some of these upper echelon teams. Will be good enough. Wukong will be locked in.
All right, so Tarzan gets a good team fighter for himself. I wonder what mid they're going to be setting up for. Is this going to be maybe another, like, are we setting up for Victor? Are we trying to get Rise? Victor into Vi sounds pretty miserable to play, and this is a champion that has unironically just been so disgusting to try to play against in the past couple weeks. Even earlier on in the season, we saw, I think, the Shy end up kind of playing into it. I just think that giving Flandre one of the best hyper tanks in the entire game, as well as just frontline so that Shanks and Hope can kind of get their damage down, really, really good coming out. So already I think AL have really strong frontline. They have the ability to kind of slow down the pace of the game here, and NIP trying to pick what they want. This is going to be Victor coming in from Doinb, recognizing that this game is going to be slowing down, and definitely feels like the most conventional control mage we actually have from Doinb here, because he doesn't really play Azir either.
Yeah, it'll be his 6th time picking this champion, and you know, it does feel really weird sometimes. Like, I do get having the scaling is going to be really important, but passing up on the strong mid-jungle duo of like a Vi and Talia. I know he doesn't play it a whole lot, but I mean, it just feels like it's up Doinb's alley. Like, even when they were hovering the TF, I was like, hey, that's actually like kind of interesting for the way that Doinb likes to play. Sure, it's not really great, but I don't know. It kind of disappoints me. I mean, like, obviously Victor is still a meta champion, but just to see them not opt into this strong mid-jungle duo, it is on the laundry list of reasons why they're 4-10, I think.
Yeah, Talia all-time right now on this patch is 71-57 in games, 55% win rate, absolutely insane. If I just, like, isolate that for LPL by itself, Talia is, where is she? Where is this? She is 67% win rate, 14-7, absolutely nuts. So when you look at NIP, they're going to be a bit of a slower team. They're going to be trying to walk into AL. I feel like even with this York going up against the Scion, it feels a bit greedy. We'll see what NIP are able to do, as you can see that AL, large focus on this bottom lane. Kai'Sa and Zeragon, now with Jhin and Varus taken away. The next best AD carry that we're going to be expecting coming out from Leave is either going to be some kind of combination of an Ezreal or a Lucian. Oh, Lucian's banned too.
Yeah,
and now they banned Ezreal.
Just got banned too.
Oh, so, now they're gonna pick MF.
Oh, I know how much you hate Misfortune, man.
Oh, Misfortune is not great, but you have so much set up with your team. I think that there's no combination of supports you're really gonna be able to take away. Maybe if you get away the Rel now, because Alistar is already banned. Rel Corki is very strong as a 2v2, but even with that withstanding, NIP now are kind of playing in this really weird situation where they can maybe try to scale on 2 and 3 items are going to be very, very strong, especially with Victor and this York and the solo lanes. But my worry for this team right now is going to come down to not only can they get through the laning phase, but also their setups around objectives. When you look at AL, it is so much easier to play.
Yeah. And right now, NIP's comp, it kind of confuses me. Like, I love what they want to do here. They're like, hey, we're going to go and we're going to, once we get on a turret, we're going to absolutely destroy it. We're going to have 2 strong solo laners as the game progresses. I actually really like this Poppy pick because it gives them some disengage. Nico will do the same thing, but it just feels like when you have a Yorick on your team, having a Vi and Tristana just feels like it does not mesh well because you're going to be fighting a man down most of the time, or then Yorick's going to be joining you for fights.
Yeah. Yorick is actually, I will say, surprisingly
fine
really good here, I think. Yes, it's good into the Scion matchup as the game goes on, but particularly early. I think having the cage actually provides a little bit of value when we're talking about trying to play against a Talia or a Misfortune, who are particularly immobile for the most part and also can kind of throw a spanner in the works. My issue is kind of like we were talking about and starting to get towards, which was this is a team for NIP that are so focused on trying to fight that I think while giving solo kill agency in a side lane, I just don't know if it's going to matter when we're talking about a team that is really trying to play team fights super mechanically proficiently. And hell, you have a lot of setup now. You have a Tristana, you have a Nico, you have a Victor. Is that necessarily going to be enough, though? I don't think so. As Mimi has decided, we are going to go behind my monitor setup.
Oh, yeah, I see your camera shaking a little bit.
Hello.
You're getting ganked by Rengar.
I'm getting ganked by a cat, not Rengar. This is a different kind of Vestayan. Away, be gone, demon. And she just jumped back on the other desk. All right, cool.
Nice.
All right,
Cats, man.
now that we're back.
This is a cat diff. That's
Yeah,
precisely
it's just a
why
cat
I make
diff.
sure my cats do not join the room because I know my princess will be just fine, but I know my little snuggles will run amok, turn off my monitor, not my monitor, to my my tower. She's done that in so many games of League. Like, oh my god, dude.
Look,
Cost me so much LP.
I run by the idea that, if don't let someone else ruin your day, ruin it yourself, and I've done that plenty of times. I've kicked the power supply on my own PC plenty of times. And the one that's attached to the power surge. So hopefully none of the teams have that happen to them here in game number 2. We're getting ready for NIP versus AL. AL already up 1 game and looking to try to close out this series.
All right. I think the peak of NIP games is watching the Skybox and their hooded figures, because things generally just go downhill from there once they hit the Rift.
Not always the case. Don't be a hater, man. They've won 13 games this split, okay? That's almost as much as WE and Weibo. They just haven't really been able to close out series. Leave them alone, man.
That's true. They have only lost 22. They're only currently -9.
Yeah.
Which is actually, like, I really hate to say it, but is not as bad as you think it is when you look at this team. I think just because of the difference from split 1 to split 2.
They are
they're
literally, if you only did game score, they are 4 games behind 6th right now. So,
yeah, you know what? That's not too bad.
That's how stats work. Anyway, we've got our game starting here. It's going to be junglers on opposite sides. Early ward from AL actually is going to be spotting Aki while he is doing his red buff. And so, big point for NIP is going to be making sure that they can actually hit 2 and 3 items, making sure that they get those Victor Evolves, and more specifically, leave on this Tristana. This Tristana champion should be one that is really deadly on 3 items. You become like this massive monster, especially having access to things like the Navori Flicker Blades, having constant uptime on your Q, and just in general, she really kind of, I think, is one of the best users of an item like Yuntal Wild Arrows.
Interesting thing to note is that Leave already burnt the barrier to get himself from a double up. So, all right, good job, Hope. Just point and click them. And force the summoners out. Maybe you could do more of that, and things will be really good for the AL bot lane once again. Jungler for the side of NIP. Aki slowly moving over to that top side. Meanwhile, Tarzan does have a couple of camps after he started red and went all the way down.
Wait a minute. He actually swapped it up. This is really smart from Tarzan here. He went for red buff, went to his bottom side camps, and now he's actually flipped his pathing here. Great ward from solo kill is more than likely going to spot Tarzan out, but I don't think Aki is necessarily going to be expecting that he's going to be on this side of the map. They had a ward on Tarzan's Raptors, so they don't know exactly where Wukong is, but I don't think he's going to be expecting him to be on this side of the map. And, I mean, he has a Talia on his side. Like, yeah, maybe Yorick will have priority, but they should have a much more deadly 2v2 coming in from anyone's Legend.
Yeah, Doinb has yet to use the teleport yet. Aki is going to move in first. It looks
There we
like
go.
He's head straight toward the mid lane here. Shanks will be able to step away with that vision that he was granted. The crab has been started up by Aki. Don't think Tarzan's going to get there, so he'll just take the recall.
I think that's incredibly smart, though. He literally just saved his mid laner's flash. And potentially there's maybe another play here as Aki is going to maybe make a deep roam in. But even Shanks now puts down a ward. He's stopping the invade. Aki will at least see it, but I mean, good enough coming in from AL to protect some of their solo lanes, especially Flandre very early on in this Yorick matchup. Can't get pushed around versus, or as the Scion. So, kind of the only lane of priority that we've been really starting to see is NIP's bottom lane. Again, you're playing double ranged into this Misfortune, and Nico in particular is very annoying to deal with. So, hopefully for Leave and ppgod, they can kind of continue to try to use this priority and leverage that into some objective leads.
Yeah, make sure that Hope isn't really able to do much in the early game. Try to keep this Misfortune's power as low as possible, and they're going in for this fight. Tarzan's going to show up, Leave going to hop away. Teleport coming in from Doinb just to protect it and make sure that his bottom lane is all good.
All right, well, Doinb just loses a wave in mid. Doinb, Leave, and ppgod are all going to share this bottom lane wave. Potentially even a Raptor stolen away, so, you know, a pretty big investment from NIP in terms of the resources that they were able to use there. And Tarzan, I mean, he even still has the smite, so why not maybe even get a dragon for themselves here to try to split open this map. So, I mean, teleport alongside camps and a wave, I think I'd take that if I was AL.
Yeah, I mean, Aki couldn't go for his chickens there because he just didn't have his mid laner, so I don't know. I think that's been, you know, Doinb, at times, he has been helpful to his team to a fault. You know, that teleport, as you mentioned, that big investment. I mean, it was just better served to go mid lane at that point. I think everything was going to be A-okay no matter what. I think that might not be okay. Our Shanks, he is forced to flash away, and he will be able to survive.
Okay, but pretty good chunk coming in from Leave and the rest of NIP. They're going to try and stop Aki here. That
was nice to stop Aki's Q. He was already forced to flash. Now they're going to chase him down. Going to knock him back over with the seismic shove. And Tarzan gets first blood.
Wow. Okay. Well, that could have gone very well for AL. They just traded the mid out from the enemy mid laner. Like, get the flash out from this Talia. Then maybe you can try to make a redive with either Aki waiting over the Raptor pit. But ppgod on the bottom side of this play and Leave going back down towards this lane. Ends up making that Aki can't even get out, even loses his flash. So all in all, it's a 1-for-1 in Summoner's trade. It's going to be that first kill going over to AL. And they're a team that really wants to be able to kind of push around their way. AL are very explosive early on into this game. Some of the scaling elements obviously still go over to NIP, but outside of just the champions by themselves, AL have been a much better team at being able to slow down a Summoner's Rift game and really kind of play the objectives out very smart.
Yeah, and having that flash down from Aki will make this game a little bit slower. Not going to have as many angles. As we all know, Vi with a flash ultimate once he hits level 6. Very deadly, able to get on a target from very far away. Not going to have that option. The dragon is up. AL is congregating around it. Doesn't look like they'll head toward it just yet. Comes up in about 50 seconds as Tarzan is going to go in and sneak a red buff for himself.
Yeah, I mean, look at the map right now, right? Like, Aki is taking enemy, or taking the topside scuttle. He's probably going to be doing the same here, but he knows his Raptors are respawning, so he's going to head back to that. They have no idea where Tarzan is. Tarzan has been so good about making sure that he gets resources, that he's able to kind of sneak away, take one camp here, maybe grab a second one here. He's going to go for another one because he doesn't know where Vi is, but, I mean, Shanks is about to finish recall. Tarzan has to be very careful about this. He's actually getting his whole bot lane to rotate now.
All right, well, Kael and Hope do show up. Doinb will be chased off the mid wave here as Tarzan will cross onto his top side as he's got his red buff available and his Krugs. He's also level 6, so having that Cyclone available going to be a big, impactful skirmish-based ultimate. So it looks like he'll just go for the grubs that have now spawned. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Aki will go and take the dragon away as the bolt time gets placed. Thrown down, ppgod taken very low. with no follow-up damage.
I love how aggressive that was, though. Like, maybe if there was another auto, if maybe they had a little bit more damage onto ppgod, but, I mean, they just said, look, you don't have heal, or you don't have flash, you don't have the ultimate, so, oh, well, let's just try to rip it here. So, it's going to be a trade of the objectives. I still think that giving 3 grubs over to AL is a little risky, but as we've seen with almost every team that gets Yorick, you're almost never able to get priority unless you're forcibly making it for your team here, and now we'll kind of start to see Aki get some of his camps back, but still going to be an advantage going over to Tarzan, where he'll be able to at least trade enemy blue buff here.
Yep, and as long as he's able to do that, things are just fine in Tarzan's world. His red buff and his top side are still up, so he'll be very happy to collect those later as Aki continues to just bleed out on sides of the map. Still has yet to make a play with his ultimate. Hasn't had it for that long. Went and secured an objective, but there hasn't been anything really for him to do, and if you're not giving him angles to be able to make plays with his AD carry and his support, who are quite strong at this point in the game, anyone's legend is totally happy with how the game is progressing.
Tarzan is in such a good spot this game. Depending on how he plays, could very easily get himself, I think, an MVP this game.
Oh, yeah.
Just being able to move around the map, and I think most importantly, play with so much information. That is one of the easiest parts of your job if you're on a winning team, especially, is how good it is and how clear you can try to get information out from your teammates. And with them being able to push ppgod out of mid, it meant that Tarzan knows, like, hey, ppgod can't be here. There's not going to be a collapse from their lanes. Aki loses another blue buff. He has his entire topside. Tarzan actually elects to ignore his topside Krugs. One, because he just knows they probably don't matter, but also recognizing that they probably want to make a bot lane dive now. They know that Doinb's down here. They now know that they're going to have ultimate from both of their bottom lanes. Hell, let's just set up a situation where Doinb has to be very careful about ever showing on a bot wave.
Aki aware that that could be the case. So shadowing Doinb here. It looks like Tarzan will just recall and spend a little bit of gold
that is
here.
Nico. That is Nico.
Oh my god, that is Nico.
Yep. That's okay. I was just looking at how Aki was taking jungle camps, and I figured ppgod's probably not sitting there hitting his head against a gromp.
No, not at all.
So,
not at all.
Yeah. Either way, I mean, we don't really have an objective really to talk about for the next few minutes. We have Dragon spawning in 2.5, and if we take kind of a small items check right now, we'll say that NIP are starting to get to that part where they get a little scary here in this game, although AL have such a stronger first item spike, except for maybe Shanks, but Shanks' kit in general is just very, very strong. He's going to have a Ceres most likely here to start, but I'm looking at Hope. He's getting closer and closer to that Bloodthirster, and that's going to be the most annoying part of the game to play.
Yeah, once he gets there, it's going to be so hard for NIP to actually take him down because they have such a lack of damage, and here we go, looking for a little bit of a fight here. ppgod forced to flash away, but Tarzan is chasing after him. ppgod's Pop Blossom going to get land the knockup, but Leaf hopped over the wall, and now he's stuck. He had to use his ultimate. Now he's got to burn his flash. Will then be able to hop away once more, but a big error there for the AD carry of NIP.
I love how fast that play was, by the way. I mean, even with Doinb being able to get another wave down in bottom side, like, as soon as ppgod shows and he uses his E, that's the go button from AL. Kael flies in, Shanks uses his ultimate. That was a big investment. 4 ultimates used there to kill 1 person. But then you even get 2 summoner spells as well as the kill. And then you guarantee that you have vision control. You can just see right now the map completely littered, especially along the bottom side here, for anyone's legend in ward. So I think a really strong sense of engagement coming in from this AL team, and still showing that they have the chops to be a top-level team here in the league.
Been quite good so far. They're up about 1,000 gold at this point, just 12 minutes into the game. Dragon up in about a minute here. We'll see if anyone's legend wants a piece of that. And they team fight pretty darn well with Kael, Hope, and Tarzan's ultimates. Aki just lying in wait.
Aki, let's channel some recalls, brother. We got 3 camps, 4 camps if you count the scuttle. Let's get a move on.
Do him before Tarzan takes him away from you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon spawns in 40 seconds here. Maybe there's a play, but like they're wasting so much time, and now Aki shows.
ppgod's just dying on the side. Now we're gonna get a full engage onto Shanks here, but he flashes away and he finds the kill. And now Kael is going to peel Aki off him. The charm going to come out too, but Shanks, he's running out of
dead.
Range. He finds a double kill. Doinb actually can't take him down, and Shanks is able to make out like a bandit. What a play by anyone's legend, and NIP caught napping.
What is Aki doing? He just wasted so much time. Now it's going to be AL. They can't start up this dragon just with the way that their HP bars have shaken out, but those are massive picks and a huge waste of time coming in from Aki. Tarzan even, hell, he gets to go back and do all of his camps here. So NIP, they try to make a play. They thought maybe someone would answer Doinb on this bottom lane wave, but not really expecting that AL would be able to make such a big pick. ppgod yet again getting picked on pretty far away from his team.
Yeah, this is just a slowness to react. Like, sure, once the knock-up happened, Doinb and Aki were sprinting over, but I mean, I think you have to be a little bit more proactive than that, and not being able to close out on a kill in the end is just the cherry on top of the crab sundae that has been served to NIP so far. The gold lead has not grown that much for anyone's legend, but will be doing so soon, I'd imagine, with the way they're getting strong. Shanks picking up those 2 kills, bullet time landing flush onto Leave because he had no jump. Dragon going to be secured for Tarzan here, and in 40 seconds, this Herald is coming up.
But look at this now. Like, Leave can't ever contest mid waves. They're trying to make a play onto Aki. Great vision coming in from Kael and from ppgod to try to stop this Rakan. He'll just be able to jump over. So now, teleport comes in from Shanks. Doinb has no teleport to match. This Rift Herald in 20 seconds should be AL's. I want to see if NIP are going to be focusing on getting gold and how they're doing it right now. As Doinb hits level 11, has his completed Rod of Ages. I need to see him have a really big impact in this game as he's been farming on a side lane with a lot of attention from his team.
Yeah, he really needs to be the guy, and on this Victor, you know, that's what you expect as you get into the late game. The problem is if you're down so far before you, by the time you actually get there, it's really, really hard to overcome that deficit. As you said, everybody congregating on the top side here for anyone's legend as this Rift Herald is up and they're ready to fight. Couple big ultimates up. Hope the only one without his. Flandre will have his in just a couple of seconds. And you know that a Scion can join from very deep in the bot side river.
He's already making his way over. He's just dropping this wave. He's like, look, I don't care about this turret going down. York can catch that for all I care. I'm just going to try to shove ourselves into mid and then make it very difficult. You see right now, Aki's like, well, hell, I got to finish some camps right now. We don't have mid prio because guess what? There's a misfortune there. I can't really move in because look at where Kael is. This is such a good start here for AL. They have played this game incredibly clean. I think they've also just been so snappy with their engages. And now 3 grubs, Herald as well. Very little push on the bottom side here from Solo Kill. NIP need to find something early here. Otherwise, I think this game just becomes untenable. Again, they still have some scaling. 3-item Tristana is going to be a beast. But you also need the damage to be able to kind of fight back here. And you're looking now, Seraph's completed for Shanks. This gets tough.
Yeah, where are you going to get these opportunities? NIP's been stifled all game. He's going to eyeball Shanks there with Aki, but not able to actually make it engage. And Shanks' flash will be up shortly. So if he's able to just survive until it comes up, it'll be much harder to actually take him down. As once again, Doinb getting some attention here.
Yeah, he just doesn't care though, right? Like Shanks literally goes to another lane. It's Scion. We are never ganking this guy. So look at where everybody else from the side of AL. They push in mid. They move right into bottom side. They are playing to their side of the map that they're allowed to. I don't care, guys. It does not matter. This guy's playing Scion. Cool. We've now wasted so much time. We're getting a turret on the bottom side. Potentially even diving solo kill here.
Yeah, this could be big disaster. Tarzan and Kael going to pull this wave. Waiting for their wave to come in. Meanwhile, Leave going to engage in the mid lane here. Take a lot of damage, but deal quite a bit back. Teleport coming in as they're going to pull the trigger onto Solo Kill. The knockups are there. Solo Kill trying to survive, and he will be able to do so. And now Doinb is going to look for Shanks, that Arcane Storm, doing good damage, but not actually able to lock him down.
Wow, you want to know how Solo Kill actually lived there? He used his last rites, and it was on the Wukong clone, so it counts as dealing max percentage HP damage. So he actually heals. Really smart stuff, but AL, look at them. They're pulling them around the map now. There's a pretty big investment from AL across, though. You see that there's no flash for Flandre. Tarzan also got rid of the heal. They had to use some of their ultimates to make that play happen, but for the side of NIP, you're now saying, okay, like we had Doinb teleport for that play, didn't get anything on the return. We need to get a little bit more gold into this Victor. 4 minutes before that Rod of Ages, and Leandri's on the way. I think if NIP can get to 2 items, and hell, you look at the objectives, they're pretty even, all things considered. So as long as they're not in a huge gold deficit going into the next 5 minutes, I feel like NIP are going to be looking to try to start a fight and try to get themselves back into this game.
Yeah, Anyone's Legend have been really dominating this early part of the game so far, but haven't really been able to actually get too much more off of it, right? They still haven't knocked down a singular turret yet because it's just so hard to actually get these waves to push against solo kill, against Doinb. And even in the mid lane too, you know, Leave is able to clear out these waves pretty quickly when they send him there. So Anyone's Legend really needs one more attempt here on these dives to actually be paid off, and then they might be able to break the game open from there, and it looks like they're going to try. So on this red buff, it has been started up by them. ppgod just going to send his scout in there.
But look at how much vision and how much priority is just gained for AL. Like, they get to take a timer because Misfortune Strut gives her so much movement speed, and then they put down all this vision. They know some of the timers for Aki's camp, so this just lets a jungler like Tarzan continue to exert his will and pressure all over this game. Continue to take jungle camps away from Aki. Almost up 40, plus having the Rift Herald, and they still have Grubs. Any one of these structures is going to fall, and now they have Dragon up. Like, this is mostly a formality coming in from Anyone's Legend. This next setup, this next 4 minutes from them should be very deadly, and they have the potential to take 2 separate turrets here. As NIP, they're going to make their move now. Doinb's going to catch mid-wave. Tristana and the rest of the gang are going to move up into Sion and try to do something.
All right, they're going to walk over this pink ward, so Flandre is very aware that they are there. Will shout cowards as he runs away. Meanwhile, Leave and solo kill. We'll split the gold on this turret. Going to see Rift Herald get dropped in the mid lane as the bot lane turret goes over to Shanks. So Anyone's Legend will go from having 0 towers to 2 in the blink of an eye. Maybe look for a second crash as well, as Doinb is the only one here.
Shanks is looking. He's going to send the wall over. It's just going to be them taking another turret here. And they can still move over to the dragon. So AL say, anything you could do, I could do better here. And AL, instead of focusing the dragon, recognizing that that's not really the real objective here, stopping them from using Otacon, stopping them from potentially forcing is going to be the play right now for us. We have no ultimates in our solo lanes. Let's just make sure that we have at least some vision that we're feigning control on this top side.
Dragon started up for Anyone's Legend as they look to cap off their 3 turret play. With that, and about a 3,000 gold lead, give or take. IP not able to get much on the other side, but showed the power of their comp when it comes to turret destruction, with solo kill and Leave taking out that top one, despite the fact that it looks like it's still standing.
All right. Flandre teleported down to this bottom lane wave. Solo kill will have a teleport advantage in about 15 to 20 seconds time. They're going to start up this Otacon. Kael in the area. Shanks in the area. There is no ultimate from Shanks. And Flandre currently stuck under his turret. So they were seeing if they could maybe squeeze a summoner spell, maybe get an engagement coming out from Anyone's Legend. But instead, it's just going to be a full farm fest. It's going to be them trying to pick up more of those items. And we talked about how important it was for NIP to get to 2 and 3 items, but their opponents are a little bit ahead of the curve here. You know, it's a 2,000 gold lead here for Tarzan over his opponent. 1,000 for this Talia. So already very difficult to kill with both Leandri's and this Seraph's Embrace.
Yeah, Tarzan going to spike really hard on 2 items as well once he gets there. So that'll be something to watch out for in these fights. But Doinb hitting that 10th stack of Rod of Ages, so now he'll be the full level ahead of Shanks. Will be something to note as he crests toward level 16 and gets the final point in that Arcane Storm. As things are still going steadily okay for NIP. They're not out of it yet. They're getting to those items, as you said. Really important for them to not let the gold lead get any worse.
Honestly, commendations go out to Aki and ppgod. They had a really rough start to this game and have really at least been able to slow down their bad plays and getting picked out. So makes it very easy for an NIP to kind of scale and slowly take part in this game. Finally, we're going to be seeing a turret here for solo kill. It's going to be the Otacon started. It's going to be Sion ulting just to make sure he's here. Solo kill does have teleport. How much more, and can NIP contest?
4,000. It's getting lower as the Weaver's Wall comes in to try to split the gap here. 2,000, 1,000. And it goes over to Anyone's Legend without any contest.
I feel like if we were just posturing there and mostly just trying to make sure that Solo Kill gets this would have been fine.
Wait.
Solo Kill actually can find this.
Oh no! Shanks! Shanks is in trouble. He's going to get the shield coming out from that Seraphs and will be forced to flash away. So no summoners on the mid laner for Anyone's Legend.
That's amazing. That's exactly the matchup that we were talking about, that, you know, it's really hard for AL to really deal with on a side lane. ppgod gets out with his life, and again, if NIP knew that they were just buying time for Solo Kill, why not just have Leave sit in the mid lane? Like, as soon as you have 3 or 4 members, maybe you show Aki in the area getting like a Q prep so that AL feel like they always have to be on their toes. Let Leave sit in Fog of War, and then just move mid, get down damage. You have this explosive charge. I think minor mistakes coming in from NIP really could have min-maxed some of these situations. And I know I sound like a nerd when I'm talking about this stuff, but like, it's those small advantages that are really going to... It's the reason why Tarzan is almost 1,500 gold up on his opponents. He's able to steal a camp every now and then.
Yeah, any way that you can squeeze out value out of this composition to try to get to 3 items faster to make sure that Anyone's Legend has less of a window to try and break open the game and tilt it heavily in their favor is something that you're really going to need as NIP, a team who, you know, is really scrounging and scrapping for any singular win that they can get. It just goes to show that they still have a lot of work to do, you know, record notwithstanding. Obviously, we know they got a lot of work to do, but it's just the little things like that that just show that they are not really a team that's ready to be with big boys.
Well, let's see how they are able to close this game. Surprisingly, we went from a game that had 40 kills for one of the teams when average is like 31, 32, to a game with 4 at 25 minutes. So AL trying to at least try to bore Aki and the rest of NIP to death. And we'll see if they're able to make this rotation. We've got Dragon spawning in a minute. It is still this Otacon, so any first kills that come out for AL are going to have massive influence if everybody is stacked on top of each other. And I'm trying to take a look right now. I mean, Shanks can very easily make the rotation over with his ultimate, and the only shining star coming in is, hey, Doinb's hitting 2 items, or 2.5 items. Leave is going to have those Navori Flicker Blades up and available, so these solo lanes starting to get to that point that it becomes untenable for AL to play with.
Going to be quite hard. We'll see what the move is from Anyone's Legend, as it felt like that they were on cruise control early on, Alk Battery, and then it feels like they were cruising a little bit too hard and have allowed NIP a window to have this game be playable for them. Dragon up in 2 seconds, seeing a couple of members mid lane here. Tarzan looks to head to the bottom side. We're seeing a lot of pings on these dragons, so it looks like both of these teams are ready for a good old fight. Aki has started the dragon. He's currently on vision right now. The dragon is
Shanks will be late. Shanks will be late. It'll be him taking control of the mid wave, and we need to see how AL actually take control of space and set up Hope, because a lot of these bullet times have just been him walking up and just, you know, just straight up ulting onto one target here. He's getting leashed.
Lever's wall coming through. Leave is going to be cut off for right now. It's Aki and it's Doinb onto this dragon. It's secured by Tarzan, and Kael is going to flash forward. Is going to knock up Doinb, but Kael's got to get out of there, and he's going to go down. ppgod going to look to buy some space. Does find the Pop Blossom, but ends up going down. Meanwhile, Leave trying to hop onto Flandre there. Solo Kill and his ghouls are going to chase him down. He's stuck in the cage, and he's not doing just fine. His health bar is whittling down, but here comes Tarzan with the knockups coming through with the full time. Doinb's gone golden, but he's getting ripped apart. They managed to find Tarzan as Flandre's dead body is trying to find Doinb. Meanwhile, Shanks and Hope getting very low. Flash forward, a Solo Kill is looking to finish him off with the Maiden, with the ghouls, with the double kill. Big play from Solo Kill.
He just puts down the prison, and this is what we were talking about from draft. When you're playing in these corridors, when you're playing with these immobile mages, AL just get taken down. Leave with 7,000 damage in that team fight by himself and set up for success. Him and Doinb finally being able to rifle off rounds, and this should be the Baron going over to NIP, who have finally scaled into this game.
Egg timer has gone off. Anyone's Legend were not prepared. And the Baron will go the way of NIP. Slow and steady may win the race here in this one, Alk Battery. As I don't even know if this Chemtech Soul will be enough for Anyone's Legend to find a win.
Shanks' Weaver's Wall, positioning-wise, have looked very sus. Like, we're not actually cutting anybody out. Sion never actually got control of the Tri-Brush to stop ppgod from getting into this play, and then Kael sent it on the idea that maybe he'd be able to stop either the Vi or the Tristana, but Tristana getting all these resets for her jump. This right here, the fact that it pushed him back over the wall is absolutely degenerate coming in from the Yorick. Aki ends up going down, but Leave untouched in this fight. He gets another reset, jumps over the wall. He doesn't know where Hope is, tries to find this, and then a huge prison from Solo Kill completely wins them this fight and finishes it out.
Yeah, Solo Kill with 2 big prisons in that fight, as you mentioned. You called it earlier, Alk Battery, and you even harkened back to it at some point in this game that was going to be really big for these immobile carries over on the side of Anyone's Legend, and you could not have been more right, as finally he gets some KDA for himself, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Now 29 minutes into this game.
Leave won a single fight, and now he is 3,000 gold over his opponent.
Man.
He was 500 gold even with his enemy AD carry, and now has a full completed item. Hope has 2.5 items right now. Leave has 4. This Tristana is a scaling beast. Little bit of ways from that really strong laner that we had saw in years past. Weaver's Wall is going to come in.
Okay,
I don't know what Shanks is doing here.
Shanks is completely alone. He is going to go golden. Maybe some Hope here to make things a little bit easier. Speaking of Hope, his ultimate not able to actually land. Shanks getting very low. The shields is no longer burning, so be alive for now, but not great coming out from Anyone's Legend to Solo Kill. Up on the top side, doing his thing.
You can see how hard it is for Kael to actually find any kind of play. Anytime he wants to go into the quickness or the grand entrance, Leave just hits him with a buster shot. And that right there, oh no, Leave!
Oh, Leave, big mistake here, but Hope went back in and ends up dying, and it ends up being a 1-for-1. Teleport coming in from Flandre, as Anyone's Legend know that they do not have a whole lot of opportunities, and they're going to try to use him here. Doinb trying to walk away. Victor, ever since he embraced the Arcane, able to walk away a little bit easier. Now looking for a turnaround as Kael going to hop back over to Shanks. Aki maybe looking for a way in, is going to go over the wall. Doinb up in the face.
No.
Is going to go golden. Bit of a mispositioning here. Getting a lot of good damage in as Solo Kill is alone with Shanks. Shanks has nowhere to go. The knockup is there, but it doesn't matter. He's going to fall. They do find Doinb on the other side. Kael trying to slide away as Solo Kill is wreaking absolute havoc. Tarzan caught on the wrong side of the tracks. He's got to try to contend with Aki for right now, and he's trying to get closer. Knockup, not there for Kael. He gets absolutely stuffed. The taunt onto Solo Kill, but it doesn't matter. The Maiden did so much work, and now the minions there too. Flandre forced to flash away to get out of jail, and somehow, someway, Kael able to sneak out the back, but it's another fight win for NIP.
AL are trying to chase, trying to see how much more they can actually squeeze from these fights so that they can set themselves up in time. But now, AL, death timers desynced, ultimates as well not on the same page, will now lose access to this Chemtech Dragon in a few seconds time. Tarzan is dead for another 20, his third item being a Guardian Angel here. AL, the team fight isn't all quite there, and while we had questions for NIP in the early game, AL did not advance the game in a more meaningful amount, and so now they're going to have to come to reckon with the fact that NIP are going to outrange them, outdamage them, and potentially outdo them here in game number 2.
Just felt like at times Anyone's Legend was a little too afraid to push the envelope. They had all this control, and they were happy with that. They were like, you know what, we'll take control of your topside jungle. We're not going to push any further because, you know, generally speaking, if you do that, it starts to get a little dangerous, but they allowed NIP a bunch of time to hang around. Now 32 minutes into the game. Baron coming up in about a minute and 30 seconds once again. The first Baron didn't yield too much for NIP, but I'd imagine the second Baron, if they are able to pick it up, will bear much greater amount of fruit.
All right, well, Hope has instead opted for the rapid fire cannon, wants to try to at least match some of the range, especially for first poke comes on through. See how NIP are able to kind of balance this one out. They have started to complete more of those items, and I mean, it is so difficult for AL to ever get into the backline. I think we saw that, how split up this topside fight around this part of the map was for them. And just having Shanks, who just having a very uncharacteristic game here. He looks so lost here on the Taliyah.
Yeah, and, you know, he had that nice play in the bottom lane, right, where he managed to escape the clutches of Doinb and gets a couple of kills, and you're like, yeah, Shanks is going to have a great game for himself, and since then has been absolutely silent, as you mentioned. For anyone's legend, I mean, they do have team fighting tools, but again, you know, ppgod has, Leave has been so good at disrupting Kael from getting in. It feels like he almost has to be the third one to go in. It feels like it's got to be Flandre first, and then Tarzan. Maybe he uses the buster shot on one of them. Now
that it's gone, though, this should open up a window. Part of the reason that it's been so hard is Kael has not really been able to find a fight. They're going to make a pick on the solo kill. They're giving up Baron for this, though.
That's a big-ass solo kill, going to heal up quite a bit. Shanks is going to throw as many rocks as he can, but guess what? Your shield is starting to go down. The minions, the Maiden, doing a whole lot. You need to kill him. You finally do. The Maiden will bleed out. It means that Shanks will be able to escape, but as you said, that Baron will go over to the side of NIP. Well, Flandre is going to drop his ultimate down, trying to go after somebody here, but the Baron empowered recalls mean they will be able to escape.
All right, AL, they try to make a cross-map play there. They invest the teleport out from Flandre as well as the Scion ult. The Seraph's Embrace, not going to mean as much unless there's a pick happening within the next 2 minutes. So AL, they're trying to get whatever they can, get a little bit of gold, push out onto these side lanes. Every 5 minutes is going to be a really important fight for anyone's legend. If they can grab this Chemtech soul, I don't think it's going to matter all that much, but just a soul is a soul, right? At the end of the day, having that flat damage resistance and damage amp when you're below 50% HP is really broken. So I'm really hoping that if AL have any chance here in this game number 2 of closing this series out, that we're going to be able to see from them some pretty strong team fighting. But they're down 5,000 gold here. And this is the NIP that we've been seeing throughout the past couple weeks. Yes, they've been lost. They've been losing a lot of games, but I mean, that game versus T, yes, they showed a little bit of tenacity. Then that game against BLG, I think showing off a little bit there. There's a lot of hope for this NIP team now that Solo Kill has really kind of reconnected with the roster.
Yeah, it's so crazy how different they look, right? It's a very Jekyll and Hyde team because, you know, game 1 against anyone's legend, I mean, it was a goddamn disaster, man. It was 40 kills to 17, and then early on in this game, too. And then, you know, as you said, giving plaudits to Aki and ppgod for, you know, stopping the int, we'll call it. You know, yeah, they turned it around. NIP played really disciplined, you know, willing to give up so much and knowing that it's okay. They're still in the game as long as they don't give away that big fight, that they're still in the game, and they never did. So in a pretty solid position. I know you mentioned getting soul for anyone's legend, how it might not even move the needle. I think what it does is it allows Elder to come up, right? And that means that, hey, maybe you can stake the game on an Elder flip. Might be staking the game on a ppgod pick here. Shanks is going to go all the way in. Shanks is going to have to go golden. There goes the Pop Blossom. ppgod going to do the same. Aki gets into the back line right on top of Hope. Health bars are getting low. Doinb's Arcane Storm looking to rip him apart. Flandre trying to join the fight, but he just can't. Hope in the face of everyone, but Hope gets extinguished as Kael with the bomb on top of his head will die. Leaf will hop over again, looking for more. Tarzan just an auto attack away from popping that GA, but he continues to rifle away as the rest of his team will bring in this Baron up wave Alk battery. 2 members down on anyone's legend. It is a 5v3 as NIP looking for the death push.
They've got the Maiden as well with this Baron. How much more can NIP go for? It's this top side of anyone's legend. He's going to try and make the defense of a lifetime here. NIP, they're going to be dissuaded. It took a single mini wave. They said, okay, never mind. You put too much of a fight. We're out. We're going to leave. We're going to go right down to the bottom lane. We're going to take our dragon here. And that'll mean that NIP will also put themselves at Dragon Soul Point. That means that we are now going to the 7th legendary dragon. And NIP, they are fighting for every single chance here to win this game. Again, NIP 9th right now in the standings. Game wins for them don't matter as much, but most importantly, put AL within striking range of BLG and eventually JDG once they get through their slog of games.
And who knows, Alk Battery? I know it's a pipe dream perhaps for NIP, given their upcoming schedule, but hey, maybe, just maybe, if they can find a way to win another match, they could find themselves maybe in striking distance for 7th. They're only 2 full games behind That's a lot, especially for what they've shown so far, this split. But then again, the individual games against some of these top teams, as you just alluded to, who knows? Maybe they'll be able to put it together for a couple of series and play 2 out of 3 really, really strong games.
We'll have to see. Need to see NIP closes out. Should be a fairly easy one for them to close out, all things considered. Solo Kill is just so deadly ever since he hit 2 and 3 items, and no one from AL have really been able to deal with him all game long. Finally, the top tier 1 does fall. It's going to be the teleport coming in from Flandre. I think AL, barring some massive team fight, looking to be around that Baron in a minute and a half time. And if that doesn't end up winning us the game, then hell, it's going to have to be this Soul Point.
Exactly. Anyone's Legend, as you mentioned earlier, a team that really fights with their head, not with their hands. Gonna have to do a little bit of both here. Your mechanics are gonna have to be really on point in these fights in order to make up for the gold deficit that you have, and your brains are gonna have to be really, really big and have a ton of ridges, unlike Shanks in that last engage that did not go their way. It feels like if Shanks gets one good Weaver's Wall when everybody on AL's around, maybe, just maybe, they have a chance to get a man up really quickly and then maybe take some of this map back.
Oh, look at this Fog of War. Great toggle coming in from the LPL observers right now.
The GOATs.
You can see that AL, they can feel a little bit desperate. They know that they're down a significant amount of gold here in this game. Seeing if anybody from AL is going to step up high. Okay, ppgod gets forced out. That's Baron spawning in 25, but I think NIP can very quickly move back into this side of the map, take pressure through mid. AL are going to recall. They're going to give up a large portion of this because they don't know. Now they know solo kills on the bottom side. It is so tough right now for AL, and if they give up Baron, that might just be the game, because the Dragon is still so far away right now.
Here we go. They're going to just try to buy time for solo kill. Flandre going to be forced to use his ultimate. Solo Kill is going to be able to shove this wave in. He is waiting to see who's going to show up for anyone's Legend. Nobody has so far. Meanwhile, the Baron has been eviscerated by NIP. So again, it's going to be a Baron for Solo Kill trade here. The question is, are you actually going to be able to get him? Because guess what? He's got a Thornmail. He is tough to kill. And they won't be able to do so.
And now they've just lost out on so much of their map. Solo Kill recognizing as soon as they're not showing around the Baron, hell, they're going to be somewhere around here. So Baron lives. That's a massive part of the kit here. NIP are going to continue to cut off mid and top waves and then set themselves up. Dragon Soul in a minute and a half. Finally, the finale, potentially, to this game. One that has started off so slow. One that NIP have been slowly nickel and diming their opponents around. And it is going to come down to these solo lanes. Obviously, Leave with a big part in this game, being 5,000 gold up on his lane counterpart at the time being. And now having a Guardian Angel, this game only just gets harder right now for AL to play.
I think it's a great way to put it, Alk Battery. Nickel and diming them. It's been death by 1,000 cuts for anyone's Legend. And right now they are damn near exsanguinated. As NIP looking to finish them off, but anyone's Legend looking to force the fight. The Pop Blossom comes through. Doinb's Arcane Storm doing a lot of damage, but guess what? He's on the wrong side. He's going golden, but here comes Aki trying to get a priority targets. Hope going to get a good ultimate off, but I don't think it's enough. Aki's starting to get very low, and the Guardian Angel will get popped.
But look at Leave.
He's full HP. He's got a Guardian Angel. He's got a gun, and he's ready to use it, although ends up being a fight win so far for the side of anyone's Legend. They go 2 for 1. But the question is, can you keep it up? Leave is still so damn healthy right now. Flandre will be able to knock him up, and now Leave is going to hop over the wall. Leave is forced to flash away, but he manages to find Kael anyway, and now he's looking for more. Flandre, it doesn't matter how much health you have. Leave has the weaponry. Tarzan going to be forced into the GA. Leave with another nice sidestep here, and now he wants Shanks, but he gets interrupted on the hop, and now he's forced into his GA. Solo Kill still so damn tanky, and Shanks is dead. A nice Flandre ultimate, but the Buster shot will keep Leave and ppgod alive for right now as the base is in tatters. The minions are pouring in. They do find Leave, but Solo Kill trying to do the most right now. The ghouls are chasing down Tarzan all the way to the fountain. The base, the Nexus turrets are still standing for anyone's Legend.
Oh my god, wow, such an incredibly close fight. I mean, still, Look at how much gold is here for NIP. They get an inhibitor topside, multiple kills, the turret as well. Now 10,000 gold almost in the lead. And I mean, right now, ppgod and Doinb, they're going to move in. Aki's not that far behind. AL need to make this timer count right now. It's going to be a 4v5 teleport advantage for Shanks in 10 seconds. And Leave is not going to be here at all.
Doinb knows Zonia is either for at least a couple of moments. See how this fight progresses. They want to go in. Knockup is there. Onto Doinb. They don't really have the damage. Here comes the teleport. ppgod's Pop Blossom lands onto 2. And that means Kael is going to die. Hope is caught in the cage and goes down. But there's the ultimate from Tarzan. Good damage. Solo kill. Trying to sustain himself through. But he falls too. But look at the base Alk battery. Look at the base. The minions are pouring in. You can see the pings on it. Anyone's Legend can't take this dragon. Shanks has to go all the way back. The first Nexus turret is going to fall. The second Nexus turret still on half HP. Shanks has to do emergency cleanup work here as Leaf makes his way over to this dragon. Doinb has started this up. ppgod still in the area, still relatively healthy. Tarzan wants to get in. He does have the smite available. 5,000 HP, 4,000
Buster
HP.
shot's coming up.
He's going to slide into the pit. He's going to go for it. He's going to secure the soul, but he is going to give his soul for it. And now Flandre caught in a 3v1, trying to use his ultimate, but he's blocked by Doinb. Can't find the knockup on anybody. His Leaf is just rifling away with auto attacks, going and going and going and going and going as Doinb and ppgod continue to keep Flandre locked down, and he will finally fall. There are no Nexus turrets left standing. There is no Tarzan for 40 seconds. There will be no Flandre for a long time.
And look at all the inhibitors on the bottom left. Those are your timers. 2 minutes before a Nexus turret respawns. 2.5 before an inhibitor does. And it is just 3 waves. Hope and the rest of AL. How much work can they actually get done? Leave. I feel like you didn't really need to go for these Raptors right now. I think you should be looking to pressure. Kael trying to find a flank play.
Go. You have to do it. You have to try to kill Doinb, but he goes golden. Leave has no mana left. It's very hard for him to get in here. That Arcane Storm dealing good damage, but here comes the cavalry, right? Here comes Aki showing up to the party. Solo kill is in tow. Weaver's Wall coming in just to try to buy time. Tarzan is up. Flandre in 15, but remember, there are no Nexus turrets left standing. Doinb, Aki, Leave, solo kill, the entire squad. ppgod now bringing up the rear as Shanks is down to half HP, and the chunks onto the Nexus turrets. We are going to game 3. NIP get the job done.
There's that passion. There's that fire coming in from the legendary mid Doinb himself. A slow, methodical game, some mistakes in the early game, but we did actually see AL, I think, develop, use their 3 grubs. Really smart job, and I think commendations, again, go down to these solo laners. Leave eventually having a pretty easy team fight for him, but Solo Kill played the map really well for a player that is so new, especially. Doesn't have a ton of experience, played a little bit on EDG, obviously has that experience from playing on the PCS, but how much split pushing are you actually getting done, especially as a new age player? So congratulations to NIP. They found a game win here, which does tie up the series, obviously, but not the kind of AL that we were expecting coming in.
No, not at all, Alk Battery. I mean, they had that early lead, and they absolutely squandered it. There wasn't a damn thing that they really did with it. Again, other than just take some vision. Again, you saw, we'll take some jungle camps here. We'll nickel and dime you early, but you need to give the knockout punch to this NIP composition. They were never able to do so. And then once NIP got big, they were able to rifle away over and over and over and over again, just like Leave's auto attacks.
I think it's so impressive that we actually get to see NIP play an actual game. Like, we didn't see them go for, like, these really dumb, like, donkey fights where we're just, like, deciding, hey, we're going to go to an objective and we're just going to send all of our ultimates at you and miss. I will say ppgod felt quite invisible this game in a large portion of it. I don't think he was an active participant in the driving of the win. But just solid frontlining, good target selection coming in, and again, just utilizing a really, really great draft for them. We weren't expecting what 80 carry Leave was going to be on. I thought maybe it would be the Corki. They banned out the Ezreal on their side. He ends up picking up a pretty important win, I think, on this Tristana, and, I mean, kind of being that scaling threat for the team.
Yeah, and did a great job of keeping Kael out of those fights. I mean, Kael may have had a fine enough scoreline, but if you watch this game, his impact in these fights were minimal. We did not see one huge quickness all game long, and that was because Leave really kept this guy locked down. Especially for a pick that we've seen mostly mid lane, getting taken to the bottom lane, obviously a natural bottom laner from years past, but nice to see Leaf pull it out, deal 54,000 damage to Hope's 18k. I mean, solo kill is certainly going to get a lot of plaudits for maybe pulling away some MVP votes. I think it has to be Leaf for what he did throughout the game.
I think it's Leaf or solo kill. Funny that we actually see this MF for Hope. He's only played it twice, and we actually haven't gotten too many AL Misfortune games. I wonder if that's maybe necessarily the laning phase for these two, maybe giving Hope a little bit more agency as to where he's allowed to actually click on the map. And it's kind of a very similar pattern to when we saw Ashe actually start to drop in priority when she got nerfed towards the beginning of the year. AL were one of the first teams, AL and TES were one of the first two teams to just say, look, we want our AD carries on something a little bit different. We're going to move them away from the Ashe. We're going to slowly start to phase it out, and they dropped it very, very quickly. So good to see as a punish, and hopefully it is something that AL continue to revisit, because Misfortune is almost always going to be in the meta, especially in a fearless system. But when we talk about this game, and I think just LPL in general, there are just some games where it is much, much cleaner. And I don't want to take anything away from Hope and Kael. They play this game okay. Shanks on this Talia looked pretty bad.
Yeah, these Weaver walls were really poor. I think his best Weaver's wall was the one that he used at the end of the game to try to buy a couple extra seconds before the Nexus turret went down. I mean, it was not great. I mean, sure, being able to move around and land your Qs and deal solid damage is fine, but we didn't see too many seismic shoves either. Not really anything that you would expect from a high-level player, right? You expect from a player of his caliber, you expect from a top 2 mid laner. And needs to have some better games on that in the future, and needs to go back to the drawing board for Game 3.
Yeah, a lot of questions here now for AL. I mean, so many champions now gone. I am getting a little bit worried, although I think Doinb has started to assuage some of those worries about his champion pool. The joke is that he never gets access to Ryze and Galio, and he will, or for AL, I think a big thing that we talk about every series, selection of blue side, right? Now that they've lost the second game, they're more than likely going to be heading over to the blue side again. So in terms of first picks, I think Sejuani Yone gets a bit more priority. We haven't actually seen that combo very often from Doinb, and Doinb has been going for more of those like tank build Yones, especially when he's playing these melee champions. So I wonder, how much more we're going to be able to really see out of a player like him, and if he reaches for the Annie, which I think is very surprising. We haven't seen either of these guys really reach for it.
It feels like that could be the option for this last game for either of them, but I would think it'd go over Doinb a little bit more in the wheelhouse of expectation. One thing I'm really worried about is that, NIP played the scaling comp really, really well, but you don't really have any other champions in the current mid lane pool that are like, yes, great late game scalers, like clear Doinb late game scaling champion. So that does mean you have to be put on one of these other champions where he either has to either play lane for himself or be utility focused, and instead of a late game scaler doing a lot of big damage. His Arcane Storms did a whole lot that game. So I think that hurts NIP big time going into this third game.
There's a couple of options he still has left. I think his Aurora, in particular, is something that maybe we end up seeing. Again, Annie, probably going to be a very big contest going into this game number 2. We'll see if that ends up slipping on through the ban phase. But yeah, his effective champion pool, I think, is going to be under a little bit of scrutiny here for Doinb. We'll see what he's able to pull out and what the rest of NIP are actually able to do, because now I feel like a large portion of solo kills champions are gone. We've gotten rid of the Scion, the Rumble, Gwen's permaband, Akali's gone as well. So what else are we going to be able to get for our guy in the top lane?
Yeah, we're going to really
there we
start
go.
Digging down a little bit. Well-deserved MVP for solo kill. Like we were saying, we were really pushing for Leave to get this one, but we both said we would be happy if solo kill got it. So you know what? Good for him. Again, really big stuff. That one fight that happened down in the bottom lane was really what put NIP in control of this game.
Yeah, he has been so solid for this team, and I really want to applaud him before we send it to break. Solo Kill, you know, despite Shanji eventually leaving this roster and him being replaced, Solo Kill has, even on his first debut games, he played a Gwen game and a Sion game, and he looked by far better than whatever Shanji had put up previously. So I'm glad to see that this guy is not only getting a chance, but also proving himself and potentially pushing NIP back into that playoff contending spot for this squad, as well as being a team that we had high expectations for coming into the year.
We'll see if Solo Kill and the rest of NIP can shock the LPL and take a win over anyone's legend as we head to Game 3. We are going to take a short break. When we return, we'll kick it to the Game 3 draft for the final game of this series. We'll see